The world is full of magical whimsy, and Botania, it's about harnessing that. From flowers that act as fans to conquering the ancient goddess of the earth. Twice. It's sure to show you a pretty magical time, so let's figure it out. To start things off in Botania, we need floral fertilizer, which is just 1 bone meal and 4 of any dye. And when you use that on the ground, you get a bunch of magical, colorful flowers. They're cooler because they emit particles and stuff. And they're very useful for a lot of things. After you get a couple, you can turn them into petals, and what you can do with these petals is plant them on the ground. And when you have regular bone meal and bone meal it turns into two, or tall versions of what you just planted, and you can take these and get 4 petals per thing. So I'd recommend you doing that a couple of times to get, a lot of each of the colors. And another really useful thing is the flower pouch. This thing, because what this does is it allows you to just store your flowers in there. Not the petals, unfortunately, but you can at least see all the different kinds there is, and you know how much you have. Now that we have a bunch of petals, you can't really do much with them without a petal apothecary, because you need this to make the petal, to make different fun flowers. And the first thing we're going to make is something called a pure daisy. To make it, you need to put water in the apothecary. You need 4 white petals and a seed of any kind. And you take and you press Q. You don't right click this time. Irons, you right click. This one, you press Q to put it in, and then you, with seeds, same thing, and then you get a pure daisy. Now, what the pure daisy does is you're going to want some stone and you're going to want some logs, because after a little bit of time, it will transform this into living rock and living wood, respectively. And those are some of the some resources that we'll need to make a lot of the other things in this mod. Things such as the mana pool. The mana pool and mana itself is a really big part in this mod. It gets complicated. It definitely does, but it can also be really simple if you break it down into its parts. We will also need a wand of the forest, which is just some living wood twigs, which they're easy to make, and just 2 petals of any kind. With this, you can hover over anything that stores mana and see its how much is in it. Right now, there's nothing because there's nothing in here. We didn't put any in it. To start generating mana, we need some generating flori. These are flowers that produce mana through different ways. There's a lot of them. There's a ton. I recommend taking a look at the Lexica because they've got a bunch of info on it. You do need to get some achievements to be able to, unlock the rest of the pages, but that's okay. But the one I'm going to make is the Endoflame, which this one, when you give it any fuel, like a fuel you would put in a furnace, it generates some mana. It's 2 brown, 1 red, 1 light gray, and 1 of any seed. And then boom, Endoflame. Now, when we give it coal, you just drop it on the ground, it will light up, and it'll take it, and it'll start burning. And if you look at the flower itself, it's kind of hard. It's probably not much there, but it is generating the smallest amount of mana with that. As it burns, it will generate some more. But also, it's not going into our mana pool, because we need something else. We need a mana spreader. What a mana spreader does is it connects the flowers to the pool. So if I put it just somewhere, and then I shift right click with the wand of the wand of the forest, that's what it's called, and then shift right click the spreader, the flower will go to the spreader. And if I do the same thing with the spreader to the mana pool, it connects it, and it will start passing it into the mana pool. And you can see, now we've got mana in there. And the more this burns, the more mana it generates. It'll just stay linked. And you can connect a bunch of flowers to the mana spreader. So now we're producing mana, but we need a lot of mana. Here's just a really simple basic setup for automating it. So what this is it's an open crate, and whenever it has something in it or fed to it from hoppers, it will drop. It'll just drop. But when you give it a redstone signal, it stops. It just stops dropping, right? So if you have a pressure plate down here and just connect it right up here, it'll drop it, and then when the Endoflames take up the coal and it needs more, it'll drop more. That way you don't just leave items on the ground and they despawn because they've been there for too long, and you can fill it with a lot more. So I've got some blocks of coal here that I made that I'll just pump in there, and I mean, it's going to be slow, but at least I don't have to sit here and do anything, and it'll just generate. And you can add a bunch more Endoflames too. Now, we've been generating a bunch of mana, but what do we really use it for? The biggest thing is to convert materials. Like iron, when you put it in, it turns into mana steel. Ender pearls, they turn into mana pearls. Diamonds, you guessed it, mana diamond. All it is infusing the base material with mana, and you can do string too. String's not used as much in things, but it is used in some stuff, so like it's nice to have. With the mana steel, you can make tools, you can make armor, you can make a lot of things with it. A big thing that you'll use mana steel to make are lenses. Lenses can change the beam and how it works. Like, so this beam, shooting mana, right? The longer it travels, the more mana it loses before it actually reaches the end destination. So the best thing to do is to have it as close as possible. But there are some lenses that change what that beam does. Like bounce allows it to bounce off walls. Gravity makes it go in an arc. Bore makes it mine blocks. Damaging does damage. And there's a bunch of other things that you can actually use the mana beams for. So I recommend looking at all these, and you can change the color just so it looks cooler and organized. But let's say I wanted to make one real quick. I need more mana steel. I'm going to make the most basic one because I'm poor and I don't want to make any more. And you just right click it on and now it goes through. It's as simple as that. With all these new resources that you're making, there's a ton of things that you can make. I personally love using the invisibility cloak because, you know, Harry Potter, and also it's just fun being invisible. So once you make it, you can put it on, but there's one important thing. It needs mana to run. If you don't have mana, then it won't run. And how do you have mana on your person? That's where the mana tablet comes in. You might have noticed in some of the more complicated recipes for things, you'll notice runes. And what we need is a runic altar for that. Crafted like such. With Runic Altar, you need to give it mana when it crafts things, and you can just simply take your spreader and pump it into the Runic Altar instead. Unfortunately, my mana pool is in the way, so I'm going to have to break this. There we go. I'll connect all the flowers back up, and whenever the Runic Altar needs mana, it'll take from the mana spreader, but since it doesn't, I'm not crafting anything right now, I'll put it back into the pool. So for crafting a bunch of the runes, you'll need to just right-click the materials you need. So right now I'm making the Rune of Mana, and then you take a piece of Living Rock, throw it on, much like how you do the seeds at the last bit. And then you take your Wand of the Forest and bind it. I accidentally picked up the rock. Make sure you don't pick it up because it is technically a floating item on it. So you can pick it up and cancel the whole thing and waste a bunch of mana, but that's okay. Because like we'll just sit and wait for this to be done. Now that it's gotten enough mana, I right-click it with my Wand of the Forest, and I should get 1 of Rune of Mana. Everything else you make, you get 2, but Rune of Mana is special for some reason, and you only get 1. Now, I need to make a bunch of the basic ones, so I can make a terrestrial augularum, that word, right? I need a Rune of Fire, Air, Mana, Earth, and Water. So I'll be back when I have all those. Now that I have all of those, I can make the terrestrial plate as long as I get a block of mana steel, which I forgot to do. Now that I can make a block of mana steel, then I can make a terrestrial plate. And the terrestrial plate is very important. You can't just place it down and it'll work. First of all, what it does is Terra Steel, and it uses an entire pool of mana to do that, which I do not have yet. So that needs to charge up more. So I'll get more mana in the process, but we also need a little section for it. And what that is you need lapis blocks and you need living rock built in a grid-like pattern, kind of similar how you make TNT, with the living rock like that, and the lapis blocks like that, and then the plate right in the middle. Once you have these built and you want to transfer the mana from your pool to the plate, what you can do is you can use something called sparks. What they do is you place one on top of your mana pool, one on top of the plate, and it will connect them wirelessly, essentially. They still have to be close enough for it to work, but now when this needs mana, it will take from the pool. So if I really wanted to, I can start the crafting process early, which is exactly what I'm going to do. All you need is 1 mana steel ingot, 1 mana pearl, and 1 mana diamond. And you put it right on the plate. These are also just like dropped items, so try not to pick it up because it will cancel the entire thing and you just wasted a lot of mana. So yeah, this is going to go through its whole crafting process, and when it's done, I'll be back when it's done. I guess it only used about half the mana pool, so I guess the bar is just half of it. And now we have Terra Steel ingots. This is the better version of Mana Steel. It is stronger, you can make more armor, more tools with it, and a bunch more different tools like a better pickaxe, some cool fancy magic rods, and some really cool stuff. The most important thing that you'll use Terra Steel for is the Elven Gateway core. The Elven Gateway is an awesome thing, but you need a lot of mana to make it. The portal itself is made with living wood and the core in the center. Then, I like using that, just regular corner blocks. You don't need a corner, though. And then you need glimmering living wood, which is just glowstone and living wood in the corner, or in the middle of each of the spots, so one right there, too. And then, as we do one more pillar, I'm just out of living wood. Do I have any more? I have stripped. I think stripped works, but I prefer using regular living wood just because, I mean, it looks so much cooler. With this setup right now, we've got a Rose Arcana generating, which takes levels and makes mana. This one, it gets levels from explosions, or it gets mana from explosions, and we filled up one entire mana pool. To really light this, I'm pretty certain you need 2 full mana pools to even start it. Might be half a mana pool, but times 2. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to fill 2 of them to start. But also another thing you'll need to light it is your nature pylon, which is made like such with these pylons in the middle. They're really easy to make. Once you have, all you need is the 1 Terra Steel ingot, and you can really make it good. With these pylons, once you have a pool that is full, you'll put it right on top. And it can be within 15 blocks of the portal, but I like it cooler when it's just right in front of it. So I'm going to grab my mana tablet real quick, wherever that disappeared to. I'm going to take all of the mana from this pool, make sure it's in the right mode. And I'm going to make sure I fill up this tablet to move the mana elsewhere. Oh, also, just so you can see the proof that I'm not lying, that it eat explosion. Boom, it eated the explosion. It's very scary every time I do it, but it works. Now, after a long time and a lot more flowers, we've gotten 2 entirely full mana pools. With that, you put the pylons on top of them, and you right-click with your Wand of the Forest right there. And the portal will open up. Unfortunately, people can't travel through, but I recommend the first thing you do, you take your Alexica and throw it right through. You speak to the elves, and they'll give you a fancier one back. They give you a better one with more info, more things, more flowers, so much more stuff in it, and all of that. With the portal being open, there's a bunch of different resources we can get. All you have to do is throw in different this world's versions of stuff, like mana diamonds, and then you come back with, it's on this side, dragonstone, mana pearls, and you get pixie dust, nether quartz, and you get, I saw a drop, elven quartz. With mana steel, you have to give 2 of them for some reason because they're greedy little bastards, and you get 1 elementium ingot. With these, you can make a bunch of different things, like better mana spreaders, not the Gaia one. The elven mana spreader, which is just faster and holds more in general. I believe you can make better mana pools, but these are just great resources to have. And it doesn't really, also it took like not as much mana, but I think you need a bunch to open it in the first place. And it's not like they'll ever get bored of giving you resources. You just gotta toss it in. So it's really nice and it's really easy to have. With new ingots comes a whole new set of armor and tools and a bunch of other trinkets that you get to explore and have fun with, like slime in a bottle for some reason. But the big thing we're looking for is Gaia pylons, because we're here to kill a god. We're here to fight. We like fighting, and that's what we're here to do, so that's what we're gonna do. Now, to make a Gaia pylon, you need mana pylons from before, and you need some of the new resources that we've gotten from trading with the elves. Once you have 4 Gaia pylons, you'll also need a beacon with the lowest tier activated, and you can get a setup kind of like this. The pylons are 2 blocks away and 1 block higher than your beacon is on all 4 corners, or you can also come to the Ritual of Gaia page and just press visualize and place it down somewhere. I already had mine placed, so I know where everything goes. But yeah, once you get the 4 pylons on top, you don't need these blocks underneath. And the last thing we need to do is grab a Terra Steel ingot and prepare ourselves for a fight with a god. Once we have our Terra Steel, or our singular Terra Steel ingot, and I'm just going to use my regular really overpowered armor because I don't feel like making an entire armor set out of Terra Steel. It takes so long to make it. You sneak right click it. Aw man, my green screen's in the way. Now that we have everything we need in place, and hopefully it's in the right place, we shift right click with the ingot, and this tree is too close. Now we can shift right click. There we go. It's so loud. I forgot how. Okay, and you're not able to leave the arena because it'll just push you back in. And it disabled my flight. I can't fly. And you might think that it's not supposed to be like this non-textured, but this is how Gaia is. Where are you? I don't like your pixies. She's a lot stronger than I thought with my things. Oh, are you on the next phase? My sword is insanely overpowered. I'm surprised it's taking this long to kill her. Like, I have to be scared of my health. Yay! And when you fight her, she gives you Gaia spirits, which are used for even higher level stuff, like Charm of the Diva, Cloak of Virtue, some ingots that we can make with seeds. Now that we've killed Gaia once, we can make some Gaia ingots, and we need another Terra Steel ingot for it, but if you use a Gaia ingot, it starts the Gaia, or Ritual of Gaia 2, which is a much stronger version. And Jonah, you ready? Take that ingot and shift right click the beacon. I'm standing out here. It will disable. It pulled me in!
When I said disable,
Flight!
sucks to be you.
Jonah, it's a lot stronger now because there's 2 people fighting it. This is not good.
Okay.
I'm leaving this to you. You got this.
Relax, I'll handle it.
There you go. I believe in you.
Why can't I hit it?
Because it's in another phase. Its last little bit.
They're already at 95 hearts.
I know, but you hit it how many times?
I don't know.
A lot.
A lot. Die. There you go.
Yay!
dead.
And when you kill the Ritual of Gaia 2, it drops a lot more loot, and I think it also drops more per person. Oh, you get that stuff. Did you pick up
What
some
were you
dice?
talking about with the whole it's super strong thing? That was nothing.
I don't want to hear it. But yeah, you get a bunch of... I got Runes of Lust! But yeah, we got a bunch of loot. Does that say it belongs to you? Because they say this relic
Yeah.
is not yours. So that's Botania. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.